Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of ATK. This is All Things Chris. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining today. I'm Chris and I'm so excited for you guys to be here today. This is week 3 or part 3 of the All Things Grief and Recovery series. Listen, it has been a powerful healing process. I will say, guys, I'm using this as my healing process. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. You ready? Let's go.
You're my best friend.
So the last, 2 videos ago, we've been talking about all things grief and recovery. The first one was called The Call of Death. The second one was called Going Public and Preparation. This week, we're talking about the funeral and burial experience. So before we get started, I wanted to shout out my friends over at Creatives Are Essential. Listen, they are absolutely dope, like crazy dope. They came out with this business to basically promote creatives such as myself and people who just have that artistic and creative background. A lot of times we are so that we're an afterthought, because I believe that as a creative and somebody with the creative ability, people take us for granted because they feel as though, they'll always be around. But you have to nurture your creative, because we're essential. It's just that's just the reality of it. We are essential, because without us, you don't have your graphic design. Without us, you don't have your videography, your photography, your film, your movies, any of that, like paintings, murals, any of those areas. And it's a wide range of being a creative, but they are really promoting the creative lifestyle, getting us recognition, showing people that it is really an essential piece of any business, organization, function, event, to have a creative on your team. So with that being said, shout out to my friends. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. Anything that you need, I got you. If I could do it. But yes, listen, I love you guys. Shout them out. This is actually their merch here. This side says creative. This side says essential. And basically it just says essential personnel only. And check them out. They're dope. Just check them out. So I'll leave their link in my description below. So last week we talked about going public and preparations, and if you haven't seen that, go check that out. We talk about just the pressure and the fear of everybody knowing outside of your immediate family what that comes with, how to prepare for a funeral, so on and so forth. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave that in the description below for you to check that out on your spare time. As far as the funeral and burial experience, what I can say is you have to be ready. You have to be ready. Come with some support, because the first thing that I had to do was approve the final look. And the final look is basically what they're gonna look like before the funeral, or what they look like at the funeral. And I talked a little bit about it in my last video, but it was very deep, because the pressure that came along with it, because what people don't realize is that's the last time that you will see that person, their physical body, before they're placed in the ground, or before they're cremated, or whatever, however your process works, that how you do it for your family. But for the funeral, that's the last time that you're gonna see them, before the whole cemetery and burial experience. So making the approval for the final look was a lot of pressure. also the whole experience of choosing the burial plot. So I learned a lot. You know, my mom, she was placed at a fairly new cemetery, and I love their cemetery because each area where people are buried, they're called gardens, and each one has a specific name. So when we went to go and look at the property and see what we were going to choose, and you know, where she was going to be located, when the representative told me like what was the name of the garden, I nearly bust into tears, because it was called the Devotion Garden. And what that means is, you know, that to me, that described my mom so much, because she loved prayer, she loved worship, she loved, you know, giving God praise. And for me, you know, to hear what that was called, it was like, wow. So basically, devotion is basically like a worship experience, giving your time, set aside time to, you know, give those moments and that praise and that worship and that time essentially to God. So to hear that was just like, wow. So it mattered. The city, the view, all of that mattered, because think about it, when you bury someone and, you know, it's, you know, somebody like your parents, or, you know, somebody really, really close to you, is, you know, sometimes we move away, sometimes, you know, you go back and visit, and the city that they're in, or the view that you see when you go, you know, view them or whatever, you want to have a good experience. So that's why I'm saying it does matter where you pick and choose to, you know, lay them to rest. The next thing I really want to talk about was the culture of wearing shades to a funeral. Why do we do that? Like, I saw this thing, this video of this guy. He was doing kind of like a small skit of how, you know, black people per se, or African American people, leave funerals, and it was hilarious because it was so true, how he showed it. And matter of fact, I'm gonna show you a video real quick. Can't you see, like, that is so funny? Like, if you know the culture behind it, then of course it'll be funny to you, but to me it was hilarious, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we do that. Like, anyways, so wearing shades to a funeral, to me, my experience has been to protect your eyes, protect your face. You know what I mean? We want to have this, you know, strong look, and, you know, like, this don't faze me, so I don't want nobody looking in my eyes or whatever, you know. That's my only thing. Comment below what you think is the reason why, you know, people wear shades to a funeral. I don't know, I just feel like that's funny. Nevertheless, moving on, I want to give you a tip. Before the big day, before the funeral, practice self-care. I don't care if it's the spa, a walk on the beach, a long drive, retail therapy, whatever it is. Practice self-care, because, you know, I wish that I would have done that, because there's so much anxiety going on with all of the preparations. You know, people say like a wedding is a hard task to plan, a funeral is a hard, especially when you are the one in charge of everything. Now, I'm not discrediting weddings, because I had a wedding and all of that, but what I will say is it's okay to practice self-care. It does not have to be doom and gloom all the time. So I'm just giving you tips to help you, you know, God forbid something happen, you know, in your life, or even if you're in the midst of planning a funeral right now. practice it before that day. Practice it. Go get, go get a massage, go to the movies, do something. That way you're not home and you're depressed, you're sad. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to dwell on that. And like I said, that anxiety that you have right before, even on the day of, like, just go for a drive. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I know a lot of times the funerals are kind of like in the morning time, but whatever, you go watch the sunrise, something. That way, like I said, you're not in a room, it's dark, you're depressed, because it creeps up on you. You know what I mean? One time, at one moment, you're happy, you're loving the experience with your family, family members, they come down from all over, you're happy to see everybody, and then in the next moment, you are boo-hoo crying. So with that being said, guys, practice self-care. Go do what you need to do to, exercise, your emotions, getting normalize taking care of you during your process. Cut down on people coming to your house, because people love to just show up or call and be like, hey, I'm gonna drop some food off. But what you really don't pay attention to is after it's over. When it's over, that's when I really need people. You know what I'm saying? That's when I need you to bring me food, because I don't feel like cooking. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like doing none of that. I just want to stay in my bed and cry. Or I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to normalize that. But, we'll do that another time. On the day of, I want to talk a little bit about resisting anxiety. So, I know for me, when it was that day, I was so nervous. My emotions was everywhere. I was trying to hurry up and do everything I needed to do, take care of all of my siblings and everybody involved. I didn't eat any breakfast. And for some reason, okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, because I know that, it's a funeral, we want to look good, so on and so forth, but wear comfortable shoes. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, because when you go out here, especially as a woman, we have to make sure that we look our best. You know what I'm saying? We're doing what we need to do to, our appearance is pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? So, I had on heels, nice long dress, pearls, all of this or whatever. But truth be told, I was hungry, my feet was hurting, my emotions is everywhere. So I just want to give you another tip. Wear comfortable shoes. I'm not saying go there looking bummy, but what I am saying is, don't go there with stilettos talking about you finna bury your loved one. Like, no, that's not what we doing. Because why? You want to be as comfortable as you can. You're already experiencing emotional pain. Do not add on another layer of physical pain. Yes, it's pretty, like my grandmother used to always say, and I don't know if, comment below if you've ever heard this phrase or this cliche, beauty is pain. Listen, it don't have to be. I could be cute in what I want to look, you know what I'm saying, what I want to wear. Like, I don't have to wear no heels to the funeral. Even if I do wear heels, wear wedges, wear something that I feel comfortable in, but I still look stylish and chic and cute. You know what I'm saying? So these are just tips to help you. Eat breakfast on that day. Okay, you don't want to go through the whole process of being emotional. You have the butterflies, all of that, and sometimes you may have to feel like you have to do, go to the bathroom, but eat something. You don't want to be there and your stomach is hurting, your feet is hurting, and you're emotionally distraught. Like, let's cut down on the things that we can prevent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have control over how our body feels as far as physically. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, we know it's gonna be a roller coaster all day long. So let's eat something, let's dress comfortably, you know what I'm saying, but still look cute or whatever, and don't be pressured by what the other person is doing. Do what is good for you. However it is you're planning this thing, you're going to this funeral, you want to be supportive, even if you're just a bystander. When you're going, don't go there trying to look cute and do all this extra stuff, and you're in pain. You know what I'm saying? Now you walking around, my dad call it the white mouth or whatever, because you hungry. You hungry or whatever, and your feet hurt. Like, no, we don't want to get corns at no funeral or at no cemetery. Like, no, let's do what we need to do and go on. Moving on, the final glance, right? The beginning versus the end, right? So what that means is, what I'm saying about the final glance, when you're planning a funeral or you get a program and they have the final glance on there, it's pretty much the last time you see them before they close the casket, right? So the beginning versus the end. Now, traditionally, everybody usually puts the final glance at the end, but some people like it at the beginning. This time I put, you know, the final glance at the beginning. I didn't really want to, because I was trying to do everything in a traditional sense, which I know my mom, you know, is used to that, so I wanted to kind of honor her with that. But you know, my family members, we talked about it, and they suggest that we do it in the beginning. So I was like, okay, I understand, we'll go ahead and do it at the beginning. So, you know, that's another thing that you would have to think about when you're doing the, you know, planning the funeral experience. You know, knowing when and what is good for your family. Should the final glance be at the beginning of the funeral or at the end of the program? So it just all depends on you. Traditionally at the burial, you know, the cemeteries where, you know, of course you're burying your loved one, they usually give you a rose to put on, and my experience was not that good. Well, you know, my mom, like I said in the other video, she was a heavyset woman, and they had to do the burial experience a little bit different. Because they had to do it different, we weren't able to drop like the last rose in the ground on top of her casket, so we had to kind of put it on top of the casket, and then they lower it in, you know, how they did it. And I was the first one to put the rose on, and you know, my siblings and my husband, everybody, we walked out towards the limo because they had to lower her on like some kind of, you know, lowering device or whatever, and they didn't want the family members to see it, so they expressed to us, you can stay or you can leave, but you have to back up so we can drop it in how we would, or lower it in how we would do it. So in that moment of me putting the rose on her casket, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to watch them lower her in, because when my grandmother passed, it was difficult for me to watch. So with it being my mom, it was even worse. So my experience was definitely different. I walked, you know, after I put the rose on, I walked to the car, to the limo, and I stood there and kind of just watched from a distance, and I pretty much lost it because I felt like I was leaving her. You know what I mean? I mean, that was just my process. It could be different for you, but for me, I felt like I was leaving my mom. You know what I'm saying? So it just really made me break down. Of course, family members came over to support us. You know, me and my siblings were crying, so on and so forth. And, you know, they came to support us, you know, be there for us, so on and so forth. But, it was leaving the burial site that was really hard, because, you know, now she's not with us. Like, you're away. Of course, we know that's not really her. Her spirit is gone, whatever it is that you believe. But that body, that shell, that outer appearance that I'm used to is being left in the ground. So now I have to deal with, she's gone. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was just all the acceptance of my mom is no longer here. Like, it was crazy. It was really, really crazy. I don't know, guys. I really miss my mom. And you know, if I can go back, you know, we always say if we could take it back, we would. Or not even take it back, because there was really nothing that was wrong with me and my mom's relationship. But if I could go back, you know, to that whole experience, or even before when my mom was alive, I would definitely love on her way more than what I did. And don't get me wrong, me and my mom were like so close, like so close. She was like my best friend. We did pretty much everything together outside of my husband, but we were really close. So when she passed, it was very unexpected. You know, I hated it. You know, I still hate it. I still feel like it's dumb, but I'm just being transparent because that's all I can do. But yeah, guys, all in all, what I want to say is, you know, take this time, like I said in my first life update video, take this time to love on your family members. Love on them. Spend time with them. Don't let things go by and, you know, you haven't gotten it right, or you haven't spent time with them. Just call them, text them, see how they doing. You know what I'm saying? That way you don't have any kind of regrets or whatever. And I know that it's still kind of like, you know, a pandemic going on, but I'm not saying, you know, you got to be around them all the time. But spend time with your loved ones. Love on them. Spend time with your friends and family. Do what you can to just be there. So with that being said, guys, if you have stayed through this whole video, I am so grateful. I'm so happy that you did. Subscribe, like this video, turn on your post notifications, and comment below. I want to hear from you, your experiences, what you've been through. Don't let it go by. Put it in the comment section so we can talk. I will definitely comment with you guys and respond back. Follow us on Instagram at All Things Chris. We are there. It's a community. I love you guys. You be blessed, be safe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.